Welcome back, everybody, to Catching You. I am your co-host, Rusty Ham. With me is my, again, beautiful daughter, Lacie Ham. Lacie, say hello.
Hello.
Lace, this is a special episode. Why is this a special episode?
It is our 1-year anniversary.
That's right. When this episode comes out, it'll be 1 year since we started. And if everyone knows about podcasting, the odds of going past, I think, 15 episodes, once you get past 15 episodes, you're like in the top 1% of podcasters. There's millions and millions of podcasts out there. However, the ones that are still active. So we are, I believe, in the top 1% of all podcasts. How do you feel about that?
I actually didn't know that.
Yes. Look up the stats. Come on, Lace.
You know me and stats. You know me and sky.
Sometimes stats don't mean anything, right?
Yeah. This one does.
That's right.
But posting every Tuesday for a year,
Yeah.
getting some interviews, doing
Some solos. We've had some great interviews, right? College athletes, pros, Olympians. We've interviewed some coaches. Like you said, did some solos. We did some replays because we weren't available.
times I'm probably during season or something where I was like,
Or your room is being destroyed because there's mold in your room and you're relocated to your living room.
I am currently living in my living room. Yes.
Yeah. So actually, your senior year, what you're good. I'm glad we caught it, right? Because if you didn't catch it, who knows? You could have been, because every time you go back from staying with us, every time you go back, you get sick, right?
I do for a couple months. Yeah. And I will know. That's not usually me. I feel like whenever I go home, I feel perfectly fine. But
Yeah, so we had to take some steps to get things rolling to find out that there was actually mold in there for quite some time. And so this is going to be good, not only for you for the rest of the year, but for future tenants, right? Yeah, we're going to be saving some future tenants from getting sick, I believe. Good stuff. Reflecting back on the year, Lace, I have my favorite. We may have talked about the same ones. We've had this. We're going to have our 52nd episode come out next week. But I think we agreed our favorite episode was, if everyone wants to go back to episode 9, right?
right.
Yeah, 9 was first year 14s. You're transitioning out of coming off of USA Select Championship and third place in PGF, 1 game away from going to the finals. Now we're transitioning to Mark Campbell's 14U team. So describe that episode or how you felt during that time, because that was a big point in your life, right?
Yeah. Us talking about it, us reflecting on like how much of an impact Mark had on me as a player and how he was there for me during my head injury, reflecting on the exact moment when Mark called you when we were camping in our little family getaway during our 2-week break out of the whole year for travel ball, telling you that he wants me on the team and how it's hard when we had to be separated from certain girls that we were super close with that did not go onto Mark's team right away, which was hard. And that was my first glimpse into moving up through the ranks like of travel ball and possibly losing some teammates, gaining some teammates, and then going and starting to practice at Pacifica every single weekend, which is, I wouldn't say it's a culture shock because we would go to Pacifica sometimes to go practice, but every single weekend, STC 3-4 times a week. It reflects how the start of sacrifices started to happen with not just me, but like you guys too.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because I did a replay of episode 5, which we talked about. We talked about sacrificing your friends. Hey, you want to go to the movies? No, I have practice. Hey, do you want to go here? No, I have this tournament that's going to be Saturday and Sunday. So that there was definitely sacrifices, especially for that team. I don't know. You were going to say something else. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say that it ultimately ended up with me saying no so much that they would stop inviting me,
Yeah.
and which honestly, for all the young girls listening to this, that probably hurts more than you getting invited and you having to say no. Because you being invited, they were thinking about you. They're like, "Oh, we want Lacie to come," but then it ended up being like, you know what, Lacie probably has softball. We're just not gonna tell her.
Yeah.
The highlight girl.
Yeah. And you're 13 years old and, you want to get invited. You want people to like you. You want people, and then all of a sudden you're not being invited to these things. Back in your mind, you're probably like, they probably think but also the back of your mind, you're like, maybe they hate me. Maybe they don't like me anymore. Right. So yeah, you got a lot of emotion, right? 13 years old is a pivotal time, especially in a female's life, right? You got a lot going on
Mhm.
physically, mentally, socially, school wise. There's a lot of things that are going through your head. So you're battling with those things. My impression is yes, you had, because we thought we were going to be on this team, because we 4 seasons, right? First year 10, second year 10s, first year 12, second year 12s. We've played for championships. We were, ranked really high every single year. And then all of a sudden the rug gets pulled from you and you're like, and then some of the girls that you thought should have been, that should have come with you, didn't. And we were like emotional about that. But then you're also emotional because now you're on this elite 14U team with Mark Campbell. If you guys don't know who Mark Campbell is, he passed away a few years ago, cancer. I think you were first year 16s.
I was on
Yeah, you're
yeah,
like great.
I was pacing.
Yeah. So he passed away with cancer, but he was one of the elite 14U. It's you got to look him up, Google him, but he was sought out. 14U bat busters, the Oklahomas, the Arizonas, the Oregons, the high end teams came to him and said, "Hey, who do you have?" And he would say, "I have this person." And then those teams would always come watch you play. So in the 12U team, Chris Garcia always said during practices, my job is to get you guys to play for Mark Campbell and Mike Stitt. And his practices mirrored Mark Campbell and Mike Stitt, right? They were very grueling, they were hard, they were not easy. And I'm sure that if you're a 10 and 11-year-old, 12-year-old going through these practices, a lot of people quit. And then the ones that could handle it stayed.
Yeah.
So now we get onto this 14U team with Mark Campbell, which was the ultimate goal. You want to play for a guy who's Oklahoma's going to come watch you play. Oregon's going to be watching you play. That's cool. However, there's a lot of pressure. So let's talk about that. I don't know if you felt the pressure. You're 13 years old. Recruiting wasn't too on your list, but you knew that there was going to be some colleges looking at this particular.
I would say that first year 14, it wasn't bad because I feel like the team that I was on, like because Mark had the older team and the younger team, which was us, it was like a battle. Like, how good can we get? Or we don't want to be looked down upon because we are younger. We just want to be like the team that we are. So that's like how we were in Colorado when we went all the way to that, I think the semifinal game at the Colorado tournament. We played Corona Angels Tyson and
Choppers and the SoCal Choppers.
yeah, and it was like a really heated game between us and Corona Angels. And we were winning by a lot at one point.
Yeah.
And it just we just felt, I think that was because we didn't feel very much pressure. There was pressure on us to be good, but like we weren't the older team. Like we wanted to be like them. We wanted to be on that team. And then I think the next year, second year 14s was in 8th grade. And that's when it started hitting a little bit because this was before the rule changed and 8th graders were starting to commit to colleges. I was caught off guard. Oh, shoot, maybe I should be committed now. I need to be at that point. And then,
Yeah, because at that, I don't remember, we went to Arizona on the elite camp. Um, Arizona coach came watch you pitch. I think she resigned a little bit after that.
She's at Arizona right now.
Yeah, you're being looked at because now, granted, you're 14s and you're probably throwing 56, 57, maybe 50
Yeah.
tops. So it's not like you're like a barn burner, right? You're throwing, but you did a good spin. But you had colleges, high end colleges, looking at you because of the team you run. So I don't know, continue on the pressures of being on that team.
Yeah. Our second year, we had a lot of the same girls, brought in some new ones. Didn't do so well at PGF, I don't think.
Well, that was the year you got hurt and you were out.
Yes. Very true.
So go back to first year 14.
Why I'm blanking is that I was home for most of.
Yeah, so go back to first year 14s because that's like where episode 9 was. Talk about the older girls practice together. So for those of you that are listening, you probably recognize some of these names. So Lace, on that team, can you describe who was on that team?
Tiara Jennings, Zeta Pooney, Alyssa Brio,
Oklahoma.
Maddie Eilish.
Yep.
She's at, I don't know.
A couple. She was at Arizona.
I'm trying to think of, Julia Kutsanopoulos.
Yeah.
I think Jalen was on that team. Jalen might have been on Mike's team already.
Yeah. What about G? She was at Tennessee.
That's Julia.
Yep. Julia. Yeah. The whole infield was Oklahoma, Arizona, Tennessee at some point. I don't think Kinsey Hansen was on that yet, right? I don't think she was on Mark's older team. So we talk about those girls, and the great thing about that is we're practicing with them every day. Not every day, but every weekend, right? And so you get the privilege of playing for Mark and practicing with these are professional athletes at some point in the future. That's a great thing. My favorite part was just watching you grow, right? Now you were the number 1 pitcher on 12U and everyone's chanting your names at these games. You don't like the nickname, but they were calling you La Machine. La Machine, La Machine. So you were the number 1 pitcher. You pitched not only in 10U and 12U, you had so many innings, right?
Yeah.
Now you get to this team and then you have Liv and you have like these other girls where you're splitting time now. But you're able to look up to these girls that eventually are going to be in D1 and you're going to play against them at some point, right? You're going to be playing against Liv in a few months here.
And Lala.
And Lala, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. You are a senior. And you got your senior coming up. Now you got a call with me the other day. You were not happy about a bullpen. I should have just listened as a dad, but I was trying to insert certain things and I should have just listened. But I didn't. And
we ended up with me texting him later saying, "Are you mad at me?"
Yeah. I was irritated because it was just everyone out there, again, it's the father daughter, you're going to get those calls. I was irritated because she was so negative and I don't like negativity, right, Lace?
No.
I'm a very positive person. I always try to look at the positives and everything. And just everything I said was shut back with something negative. And I'm like, okay, I just need to stop talking now.
What?
But all good. So you're displaced in your room. Your actual room has no drywall on it. Hopefully that is back up before you come back from Christmas break. That would be great.
Yeah, it would be really nice to sleep in a room.
Yeah. Plus your season's coming up, right? Because you love your routine. Talk about your love of routine.
Well, I think a lot of people do know this, especially my parents already know this, but if things don't go the way that they're supposed to go in my head, have a little freak out. And I don't like it. I wouldn't say I don't like adversity. I wouldn't call it adversity, but I don't like when plans get changed or things aren't going the way that they're supposed to in my head. Like I wasn't thinking about getting displaced out of my room for my senior year. Like I just thought I was having a ball like before that happened. What else? I'm trying to do my laundry and I can't do it the way that I want it to because I'm not in my room. And then there's all these other factors where I get a concussion and then I wasn't planning on getting a concussion and then now I'm trying to work my way back from the concussion back to pitching like I was after our last fall game against Bakersfield, and that was when I called him or called you and I was like, nothing's going right.
Let's go back to the concussion because I'm sure everyone listening thinks the curse came from maybe softball related. This was not softball related. You ran into a pillar in your garage that you've been parking in for 4 years.
Right.
3 years, sorry, 3 years. Well, yeah, that's awesome. Things happen in life. Yeah, I know you're set in your ways. You like the routine. I can see the laundry part because when you do laundry, you don't necessarily put things away. You just dump them on your floor. So that's probably irritates you because you do laundry and then you're going to go dump it on the living room floor this time. And then now it's just a complete mess and people walk in and
It's not a complete mess.
it's fine.
It's fine. It's a room, like, I don't know.
I get it. Yeah. No, I get it. Your displays, you love your routine.
Well, it's not my ideal place that I would like to be in right now. And it's getting colder. There's no sun.
All right. So yeah, we know that you have a routine. Like sometimes when that routine is not the way you like, you get a little irritated, correct?
Yeah.
Point in fact,
What?
somebody just knocked on the door during the podcast to look at your room and there is bad news, right? Probably. So hopefully they can get this fixed when you come back so that you can have your own room, your own routine during the season because this is your last season. And you want to be healthy. You want it to be a good experience, right?
Yeah.
And then you can graduate from college, which is crazy.
How do you feel?
How do I feel about you graduating from college? I got emotional. I told you I got emotional because I went to grandma's and I wrote a poem similar to Catching You, but it's a poem. It's I don't know how you say it, alliteration or figure of speech.
Yeah.
So it's a poem. I used to be big into poems, and it was about a 7-course meal, right? The breakfast was when you were a baby, snack was when you were elementary school, lunch was when you were junior high. I called it dinner in between lunch and dinner was high school, I think, or something like that. And dinner was something else. So the 7-course meal was your life, right? And then the very end is the dessert, which is where you're at now, graduating college, maybe finding somebody.
Yeah, weird.
Eventually, hopefully you find somebody, you get married, you have kids, and then I become a grandfather. So it's the second, it's the first part of your life. It's a certain page in your life, and then you flip it over, and college is over, education is over. Now it's real life smacks you in the face, right? You got to get a real job. You're gonna have to eventually start paying for your own stuff. You do now, but eventually it's gonna be 100% on you. You're gonna have a house. It's all these things are gonna start creeping up on you. We're gonna be there to support you, obviously. But that was my vision of dessert. It's my dessert. It's like I get to enjoy. I had this 7-course dinner, which is you, figuratively, and then now I have this dessert where I can just sit there and enjoy the dessert and enjoy watching you do your thing. I did my thing. I did my job. Now you're on your own, right?
Sorta.
Sort of.
Kinda. I feel like it's been, like, since I got my apartment and I think I started working at my pitching lesson place, like, a month after. That's when a lot of the independence kicked in because now I'm actually making my own money where I did before when I was working at pizza, but that was more just fun money. Now, a lot of the most of my money that I make, I'm paying for paper towels and washing detergent. Eh, What else? Napkins. Uh, just regular stuff that I probably wouldn't buy when I'm like at home.
Half you don't need to.
I don't need to. Um, I have a constant I have it written on my whiteboard of all the things that I need to get, but I just haven't gone and got it yet. But yeah, after I graduate, gotta move home for a little bit. He says he's gonna charge me rent, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll figure out a fair price.
Um,
But you got some plans, right? You have a couple of options. One is find a college where you can be a grad assistant, get your master's, which you have the itch to coach, maybe. So that might get you in that space, coaching space. You have a teammate that's from Australia. She's mentioned some things about maybe going to Australia. You got a couple of options where you don't necessarily have to get in the real world yet, but it is a transition from school to now it's real life. And it's going to smack you right in the face.
I'm excited not to do homework anymore.
Yeah. If you go for your master's, there's going to be,
Yeah,
it's a lot. To be honest with you, the master's was easier than actual college for me. So,
because you're taking classes and stuff on what you are going to do.
yeah, you enjoy it, number one. And then number two, the professors are like cool. I won't say it's easier, it's just more laid back. Yeah. I got my highest GPA during my master's than I did my
Yeah.
regular GPA.
They will.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, Lace. So the season's coming up. I saw the schedule. You were in the Mary Nutter, which is awesome. You've been fighting for that. And why is that? Why is Mary Nutter important to you? For those that are in the younger group and have been at Mary Nutter, why is that important to
So I just remember going to Mary Nutter specifically with like you, and like you would take me and maybe a few other of my teammates up to Palm Springs, and we would just watch softball all day long. And I think we would go for maybe one of the days. I don't know if we went multiple days, but
you? If it wasn't so, yeah, there was a couple where we stayed in the Niner Hotel.
uh-huh.
Remember one of the hotels? It was pretty trashy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it was just me and you, we would go multiple. We'd go a couple days and just watch. And then
Yeah.
I think the other girls, I think may have been dropped off and they're watching for the day, and then they come pick them up because their parents worked and I didn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, just watching you get autographs from coaches, from other players. Sierra Romero, I remember that one. You got an autograph from her. To now you're playing there, and then you're gonna be your San Jose State because you're gonna be on the outskirts, right? You're not gonna be on the main fields. One
Yeah.
one game you're gonna play
Nebraska.
Nebraska, so maybe Jordy Ball will pitch that game.
Maybe she'll give me some of the girls and like, maybe.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I get to.
whatever. But even though you're gonna be in the outskirts, you're probably gonna assign some softballs, which is cool. So it's all full circle for you, right?
Yeah.
But if you look back at our very first episode, you were talking about when you're 5 years old. You're gonna be 22 years old. These girls are gonna be coming up to you. So it's just like total full circle of like where you started to where you are now. Your senior year, you are coming down to San Diego. So there's gonna be a 3-game series there. You're coming to Las Vegas which is it's only 4 hours from us, and everybody knows Las Vegas is fun to be there. So we may come to UNLV and check it out.
Yeah.
And then you have the Mountain West Championships, which is in San Diego. I have a good feeling you're going to make the tournament, and then you're going to be in that tournament. So we're going to watch you a lot this year, which is good. It's your senior year. We're going to be able to check you out a few times.
Yeah, I'm excited. Maybe I've mentioned it before, but none of our girls transferred out, which
That's
is
right.
unheard of now. So we basically have our whole roster back, except obviously the seniors that graduated, and then 5 new freshmen. And we did probably 10 times better than we did last fall. Like going into fall last season, we would lose. We didn't. I don't think we lost any, but there were close games with the JUCOs, and nothing against the JUCOs, but just being at San Jose State, we're like, all right, you gotta take it up a little bit.
I think you did lose. You lost to Cal last year.
We did.
Did you play Cal or the Stanford?
We lost to Stanford, yes.
Right.
Yeah. But this fall, we won all our games, probably won by at least 5+ each game, which is that's exactly what pitchers want, is our offense to be on fire a little bit. And having these girls back, especially like my whole bullpen back, basically, we get to work together for another year, and we're already meshed together since the season before. So I think it's good for our team cohesion.
Yeah, and you got you got a new coaching staff, your pitching coach. Pitching coach is really high on quality innings, not necessarily did you strike this person out, did you strike this person out. It's just more, and you can do that for batting, right? You can have a quality at bat, right? You can hit it on the nozzle and hit it as hard as you can, and it just goes straight to the right fielder. That would be considered a quality at bat because you squared up on the ball. It just went right to the. So for a pitcher to have a pitching coach kind of treat it the same way, where you have quality innings where, you know, no walks, maybe you give up a couple hits, but they didn't score any runs, that's gonna be a quality inning, right? And you're gonna know it's not a quality run. You had a couple walks, you give up a couple runs. So obviously you probably in your head knew what a quality inning was and what wasn't, but now you guys are focusing on it, which is cool. Lace, awesome stuff. Happy anniversary. 1 year, everybody. 1 year of podcasting, and things are coming up the road. We're going to continue to interview and try to get quality people, more coaches, hopefully. And I'm going to look to see if we can get more fathers on here. Just your average Joe father, not necessarily a coach, but just a father within the same situation as me, which was I was hard on my daughter when she was really young. And then we had a breakthrough, and then we have a great relationship. I think we do have a good relationship, right?
Right. Hope he catches me over the break.
Yeah, that's right. Christmas break, our last catching you on the bucket.
Yep.
Yeah, I read something this morning. It's called Facebook Talk, or it's Fast Pitch Talk on a Facebook group. And this guy was complaining about bucket dads not sitting correctly, meaning like some bucket dads are sitting and their glove is right behind the plate, or they're sitting straight up. The strike zone is in a different place. He is complaining. And I'm like, and I told the guy, I said, we don't need any bucket dad police on this group. So give it a rest.
Yeah, any bucket dad is out there doing the job. So
We're doing our thing. And I said the example, I said, I'm sure Jordy Ball's dad or coach who sat on a bucket to catch her, I'm sure that didn't affect the way she pitched.
yeah, you can just tell your dad to be like, can you leave your glove down? Donate.
Yeah. So good stuff. I can't wait. I can't wait for your senior year and watch you and catch you doing some great things. Did you get that?
Of course.
All right, sweetie. I love you.
Love you.
Catch you guys on the other side. Bye, everybody.